What is Maundy Thursday? Well, the word Maundy comes from the Latin word for mandate, because in the Gospel of John, at Jesus' final meal, he gives his disciples a new mandate, a new commandment, that they should love one another as they have first been loved. On Maundy Thursday, Christians remember Jesus' final meal. But it's important to note that what that meal looked like depends on where you read about it. So in Paul's letters, we find a version of this meal with words of institution. In the Synoptic Gospels, Mark, Matthew, and Luke, we find that this meal is actually the Passover celebration. And in the Gospel of John, the meal is not the Passover meal. It happens the day before Passover. And Jesus speaks in this long, eloquent speech called the Farewell Discourse. I think it's likely that it actually was the Passover meal. And Jesus gives his disciples simple elements to remember him: bread for his body and wine for his blood. And it's important to note that whenever you separate body and blood like that, it is a foreshadowing of a violent death, which is exactly what happens to Jesus. I think he gives his disciples these simple elements so that they can continue to remember him each and every day. And it is a reminder to continue Jesus's tabling practice, because in Jesus's ministry, he broke down social barriers by inviting people that he wasn't supposed to invite to sit down and share a meal together. In fact, the verbs that Jesus uses in the Gospel of Mark at the Last Supper are the same verbs that he uses during the feeding of the multitude. I think at the end of the day, the Last Supper is ultimately about remembering Jesus by sitting down at the table and envisioning what the reign of God on earth ought to look like.